So government contracting, they said there's two main types. They said fixed price and cost reimbursement.
Yeah.
Can you break down the differences?
Yeah. So firm fix is easy. Firm fix is easy. If I submit a price point at $100,000, that's all. That's it. That's all the government gonna give me. $100,000. There's no more money to be had. I don't care if the rates go up 6 months later, 2 months later, 2 years later. If they gave me this contract for 3 years for $100,000, that's it. That's firm fix. CrossFit is different. I can say, hey, I submitted a proposal for $100,000, but the rates are going up. So now I can ask the government, I need to justify why I need another $50,000, another $60,000, but you have to justify it. But you can do that with the second type of contract.
So there's other types, incentive contracts, time materials. Like, which ones are you looking for specifically? Or are you looking at, you know what, I'm taking a mix of all of them?
Yes, I need it all. I need it all. I need it all, man. Brand new sausage draws, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing the work, and I can have a good relationship with this subcontractor, whatever the government is asking from me, I'm gonna ask it from them.
Mm-hmm.
Price point is just a starting point to get them going and to get me on the contract. Once my foot in the door, I don't care what type of contract it is. My foot is in the door. We're doing the work. The federal government is saying I'm a valuable vendor. I'm saying this is a valuable subcontractor. Everybody making money. Everybody's happy. So the types don't really matter.
So bidding, you said that's the most important part.
It is.
So can you really like just break that down and make sure, like, because since you don't know what you're bidding against,
right?
How do you officially bid?
Yeah, because so the first thing is we got to know the federal government is doing their own market research. We need to know that off top. Mm-hmm. So if you didn't know, now you know. The federal government does their own market research. So they understand what price points look like from a month-to-month standpoint and from a yearly standpoint. So that's why they give out contracts for a base year with 4 option years, because they know, all right, we want to have this service for the next 5 years, but we only want to pay a certain dollar amount that's not disclosed to us, but they've done their market research. So one of the things that we got to understand is a website not going to help you understand price points. And I hear a lot of people say, oh, I went to this website, I'm looking at what the government is paying out last year. So what? Last year ain't the same price point as this price. What Fat Joe say? Yesterday's price ain't today's price. That's true.
That's a fact.
So why am I looking at a website that's talking about something that was paid out last year, and I'm using that as a springboard to charge the government for this year? You're going to already be on a losing end. The best way to understand what price points are is to speak and talk to the people that's actually doing the work in today's market, whatever that market or industry is. That's how you get competitive quotes, because the name of the game is not, even though it might sound contrary or contradictory, the name of the game is to not win the contract. It's about submitting competitive quotes, because I've lost way more contracts than I've won. But the ones that I've lost, because I didn't price gouge the government, they've came back and said, hey, you submitted a competitive quote. Can you submit a quote now for these contracts? And now, I guess what I didn't do? I became a reliable source just that fast, and I didn't have to go looking for other solicitations to submit proposals for, because I submitted a competitive quote based off of how I do the pricing, which is speak to the people that's doing the work in the industry.
Are you submitting, how many do you do like in a month, or is it just like one at a time?
Yeah, so when I first started, when I was by myself before I had my team, I was probably doing around 15 to 20 proposals a month submitted.
So what should be included in a proposal? Because like you said, bidding and proposal is the most important part.
Yeah. So the federal government, that's why I love the federal government versus the state and local. The federal government will tell you exactly what you need to submit. They'll say, we need your price, we need past performance, and we need a technical statement. So then you just provide that. And who am I getting that information from? My subcontractor, right? Because I technically don't know how to get the job done. So if they're asking me to get something done technically, I'm going to ask them. This is their job. They've been doing it for 10, 15 years. So that's why I love the federal government, because they actually outline and tell you everything that you need to submit in a proposal. So it ain't no guesswork. It ain't like you just can create a template and say, oh, I'm going to just submit this type of proposal for every solicitation that I'm going to do. Nah, they're going to tell you exactly what they need, and then you just fulfill it.
I mean, it's an interesting way to go about it as far as being a middleman, because it does give you a variety of more. Like if you're just focused on, flooring.
Yeah.
Right. Like you got to try to figure out, okay, geographically, can my company go to Idaho? Can they go to Mexico? Like New Mexico? Can they do this, that? And then it's like there might only be 2 flooring jobs a month that's listed.
Exactly.
But
And now your work done slowed down.
But as a middleman, it opens up a variety of different opportunities for you. And you don't get the full amount, but you can do several different things at one time.
Exactly. Peep game. Like, why, if you look at some of the most prominent business people in the entire world, they would tell you, that's how investors do it, right? They would tell you, all right, for $100,000, I want 10% of your company. And then they do that over and over and over again, right? So now when you look up from 10 or 12 different companies, I'm getting $100,000. Okay, now I don't have to put up upfront money, but I can get a percentage of work being done from different services, from different companies on different contracts every single month. It just makes too much sense.
It makes a lot of sense. Like you said, so one of the main things, if we're using real estate, is location.
Yeah.
And since, I mean, you don't really have to ever be in a specific place, are there locations like large cities that are more prominent for you to look for the contracts, or how do you go about that?
Yeah, so after you've been doing it for a while, obviously you can start to be strategic. You can be strategic on the regions and the type of industries and contracts you go for. But I like to speak from the ground floor level, just starting out, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, to answer your question simply, yes, there's other regions you want to go for, the Houstons, the Atlantas, the DCs, the Maryland, Virginias, right? New York. It's cities that you can be like, all right, I want to strategically look for contracts here. Mm-hmm. But when you first start, and don't do that. It's a federal facility in all 50 states, all 50. So on the federal level, you can live in New York and get contracts in Cali, in Texas, and Washington State, and Idaho, North Dakota, South Dakota, right? You can get them all. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't tell somebody to be strategically looking in certain areas just yet. Just look everywhere. Understand what that looks like.
As many bags as possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, middlemen make the most money in America and the world. You know who the biggest middleman is?
Who that?
Amazon.
See what I'm saying?
Amazon, they don't have any proprietary products. They literally are connecting businesses that have products to customers that want to buy the products. And then they take 30% or whatever they take off of it. And they become one of the most profitable businesses of all time from just doing that.
I tell people all the time, man, I'm silent money, man. I'm silent money. I walk around and I blend in because I know what's happening on the back end with all my contracts. Right now, we got 42 active contracts, and all 42 are 4 years and better. That's 42 streams of income just from the federal government alone, not mentioning what I'm doing with that money and moving it around like I'm supposed to. So now when we talk about the middleman and or woman and how that relates to now the largest customer in the world, we're gonna hit another recession, another pandemic, all that stuff gonna end up happening. But when you get in bed with this type of customer, you good.